Well, ladies and gentlemen, he is back again. Yes, we are talking about Ghostwriter, the AI, or the guy who decided to make a Drake AI song, Heart on the Sleeve, that you may or may not have heard about earlier this year, took the whole world by storm, and even got Drake himself upset. Now, to give a little bit more context / lore, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm probably wrong on this date. I want to say it was around March or April this year. There was a person that went by the name Ghostwriter AI, and he released a song that was called Heart on the Sleeve by Drake. And even though it wasn't Drake, it was just AI Drake. And so the way the system works is, let's say I make a song and I use my own vocals. I put a voice filter over that, and then I sound like whatever artist I want to. But to go along with that, there still has to be someone that's doing the actual vocals and someone that actually does the production and writing of the song. Even if they use AI generated tools, there's still a discussion to be had about that as well too. I have a whole video that went over how this actually works. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description below. But that's essentially what happened. And so once that song got released, it took the whole world by storm, and then Universal Music Group took that shit down almost immediately. They were like, what do you think you're doing, bub? You sitting there training AI off our artist voices that we paid money for? No siree, you're not about to start making money off that. We're not going to allow that. And then he went silent for a very long time until recently. Once again, he has now come back with another song that is pretty interesting, but I like to say that the reception to it has been even more intriguing.
They waiting outside. They flooding the gates, I'm flooding the wrist. Like, no, I ain't got it. Stormy and Scott. They Houston like when he got my brothers with me. We lighting the city on fire. Protect my Achilles, cause they trying to kill me, but I never been so alive. Yeah.
So just to cover myself so that UMG doesn't copyright strike this video or try to take down the song in the inevitable future if they decide to, because I decided to wait a while to sit there and see how the situation was going to develop, and they haven't done anything yet. I don't know if they will, but I don't want to sit there and go balls to the wall and play the entire thing and then they sit there and try and use that as a case, when in reality this video is just for educational purposes only. I'm not here to redistribute the song. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm just here to show. Anyways, that was the song. That's what they posted on their TikTok, and then they posted to Twitter. Of course, they didn't post it to Spotify or any other platform, like a regular streaming platform, because the second you do that, it's just getting taken off. Let's be real here, right? Because if Ghostwriter's first song got taken down, then of course the other one's going to get taken down as well too. UMG might not be going after the uploads on YouTube, and because it's not a full song out anyway yet, but if there was a full song out, at least on Spotify, I'm pretty sure they would be taking that down in a heartbeat. They're not going to sit there and waste their time. Now, if that was all there was to the story, then I wouldn't be making this video. It's just another release, right? It hasn't really taken the world by storm like the last release did, and maybe it's because their full song isn't out yet. I think that magic in a bottle, or that lightning in a bottle, is kind of gone. The first wave where it kind of took everybody off guard because it was kind of showing what the idea of AI music could be, but the other fact being a lot of people don't know what this AI music is, and the fact that the idea of AI intertwined with this isn't exactly how people are they're visualizing in their head. It's not the same exact thing. But because this tactic has already been used once, I don't really see it working again. Again, it's already been like 9 days, 10 days since the original post and the original showing of that song. And I haven't really seen it really making waves over the internet. Not everybody's talking about it like they were Heart on the Sleeve. And again, I think it's just because when you get everyone caught off guard the first time, it's like, oh shit, it goes around the whole internet, catches everybody off guard. But when you do it again, it's kind of like cool. You know, the people who enjoy that type of content, they're going to listen to it. They're going to fuck with it. But the people who already heard it once before in the past, they're going to be like, yep, they did it again. Sounds cool. All right. And whatever. They just go on their day. But it's not going to be like the first time people are like, oh my God, how are they doing this? This is crazy. What is really going on? Yeah, that curiosity, that magic, that mystery is kind of gone. Anyways, recently New York Times posted an article that detailed them talking with the Ghostwriter team, or someone of that nature was able to talk with the Ghostwriter team and actually get some answers and just their outlook and their perception on what's going on with this and how they look at it. And I just wanted to go over. So the article says, in the months since the release of Heart on My Sleeve, those behind the projects have met with record labels, tech leaders, music platforms, and artists about how to best harness the power of AI, including an virtual roundtable discussion this summer organized by the Recording Academy, the organization behind the Grammy Awards. Harvey Mason Jr. said, I knew right away as soon as I heard that record that it was going to be something that we had to grapple with from an Academy standpoint, but also from a music community and industry standpoint. He said, when you start seeing AI involved in something so creative and so cool, relevant, and of the moment, it immediately starts you thinking, okay, where is this going? How is this going to affect creativity? Where is the business implication for monetization? And this is something that I have covered in the past. When what this is referring to is, again, when you release a song, and let's say I decided to release Wasabi featuring T-Pain, but that T-Pain vocals are actually me, and I'm the one who sang those vocals, and I just used the AI filter of T-Pain on that my song, but then I still have it Wasabi featuring T-Pain. Well, guess what? I'm banking off T-Pain's likeness, and I'm selling the impression that I got T-Pain on my song, even though it was AI. You know, that's pretty much me banking on his likeness. And guess what? I would probably be sued or something close to that, or monetary damages, or any way, shape, and form. Even if I was to disclose AI, they would probably try to make an argument and say, hey, you know, people are not going to be able to, if they can't tell the difference between the AI voice and the actual real thing, then people are going to be misled or duped, or any form that you could think of to try and describe that the consumer has been led to believe that this is the real artist on my song, when in reality they weren't. And so let's say they say some shit that's fucked up or shit that doesn't really sound right, and so then they start believing that artist said that. Then again, it goes back to monetary damages, brand damage, image damage, you name it. And so that's what that article leads to when it talks about monetization. There, you have to find that way. How do you, if you were to go around using AI vocals, or you train off artists' vocals, and then you start making AI songs with that, and you say AI Travis Scott, AI Drake, AI this, blah 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 blah, and even though your song might be 100% original from the point of that you produced the beat, you've written the lyrics all from scratch, the thing is you still are banking off that artist likeness, because as I said in the past, if you sit there and you say AI Drake blah 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 song with AI 21 Savage, or AI whatever poppin' artist is right now, people are going to be clicking on that song, not really because it's AI. Well, yes, that's going to be part of it, but because they just know the artist's name. They know who Drake is. It's that image, that brand awareness. People know who that is. And so technically you are banking off that artist likeness. You're banking off their image, because people know who that is, so they're going to be more inclined to click, instead of Bobby AI dancing on the floor or whatever. People are not going to click on that. They don't give a fuck about no Bobby. There's no interest for someone to click on that. And so that's where this whole thing stems from. But I'm getting a little bit too off the path. I'll say that for another video. So the song is called Whiplash. It was originally posted to platforms that said on here, TikTok and X, formerly known as Twitter. No one uses the name X. It's just Twitter. All right. Anyways, the reason why, just in case you're wondering, is because Twitter doesn't really care about copyright claims. Like, they do, but they don't. All right. It's a lot easier to get away just posting shit on there and having a lot longer for a response, versus a actual music oriented platform like Spotify that will probably act in a heartbeat. If a company reaches out, they're going to get rid of that shit immediately. But if it's something like Twitter or TikTok, they're probably gonna be a little bit like, we'll get to it when we feel like it. It said that the song came accompanied by a statement that called on both Scott and 21 Savage to collaborate on an official release. So the future of music is here. Artists now have the ability to let their voice work for them without lifting a finger. It says, if you're down to put it out, I will clearly label it as AI and I'll direct royalties to you. Respect either way. Now, when it comes to record labels, I can't really say how these deals are structured, or even if they have any control over the songs that they release. At the end of the day, there's always going to be someone that's higher than that artist, depending on which record label they're signed to, and if they're signed to a record label. That person at the very top is going to be the one that calls the shots, and will say anything if they even care about following what Ghostwriter said about accepting the royalties if they let him post a song on Spotify and all the other platforms. I think what Ghostwriter really just wants to do is just bring awareness to it and just show the possibilities and what is actually capable. From everything that I've seen up to this point, I don't really think he has a monetary incentive. At least the first thing is not monetary. Let's be real here. Everyone has a monetary incentive for anything they do in life, but I think that Ghostwriter's first priority is just to bring awareness to this and try and get traction going so that it can lead to more opportunities down the line. But with this, I mean, personally, for me, I don't really see it too bad, in the sense of, hey, you know, I mean, if the artists agree to it and they say, hey, you give us royalties, I mean, as long as you have the song clearly labeled as AI, then it is what it is. But again, I think that's going to come to the record labels and the one who calls the shots at the top, not the artists themselves. Even if they were to say, cool, I'm cool with it, if the record labels, the head honchos, don't agree with it, then they're not going to let it happen. Because at the end of the day, the other thing you have to remember is that these record labels paid for these artists. They paid for this contract. They gave them a fuckload of money to own the rights to them, essentially, to have their brand, their image, and do whatever they want with it. They paid a fuckload of money of that. So to have someone else go and start doing all this extra shit, and sure, you can sit there and say, well, they're doing it for free pretty much. They just want to get the awareness out for AI, and but they said they'll give all the royalties and all that shit. The reality of the world is it's never that black and white. It's a lot more gray. It gets a lot more muddy than you think it is, even though it might sound really simple. And the idea is, well, hey, you let me do it, I give you royalties, we're all happy. It's never that simple. Continuing on, said a representative for Ghostwriter confirmed that Whiplash and Like Heart on My Sleeve was a original composition written and recorded by humans. Ghostwriter writer attempted to match the content delivery, tone, and phrasing of the established stars before using AI components. And that statement confirms what I was saying a couple months back, which is the majority of the song is all 100% made by humans. The only thing that is different is that there is a AI filter over the voice to sound like a certain artist. That is it. Everything else still has to be done by the human. At this moment, we are not yet at a point in time where you can just sit there and say, I want AI Drake song made and here's the lyrics and boom, it's made. It doesn't work that way. No shot, not even close. You wouldn't have something that people would actually enjoy. So there is still a lot of work that goes into this, and that's why it's hard to sit there and just 100% dismiss the legitimacy of a song. But on the other hand, you can't sit there and see why record labels wouldn't exactly be too happy seeing someone make a song using the voice of an artist that they paid a fuckload of money for, and then now they get all the attention drawn away. This isn't for me to say that one person's right and one person's wrong. It's more for me just to explain both sides so that you have a better understanding of why people are, for each perspective side, upset or trying to make their point on why they have a case. It also said that the Ghostwriter team had recently submitted Heart on My Sleeve for Grammy Awards in 2 categories at the next year's ceremony, Best Rap Song and Song of the Year, both of which are awarded to a track's writers. Now, if I'm being completely honest, do I think it's going to get it? No. I highly doubt it. The statement might age like milk and it does get it, but I think it's still too early on that this song is really going to make waves, mainly for the first reason being that it never was actually officially sold on Spotify or iTunes, or people can't legitimately stream it. That's the first reason. But second of all, because the hype pretty much came and gone. It didn't have a lasting impact. Sure, it took the world by storm for like a month at most, maybe a month and a half, but it didn't have that lasting impact that when you think of something that's going to win the Grammys, you think of something that has like a influential, monumental impact. I guess you could say for influence part that, yeah, it started bringing more attention to AI songs and people wanted to maybe start making their own. But overall, it hasn't been seen like industry wide, at least not yet. Mason said, as far as the creative side, it's absolutely illegible because it was written by a human. He added that the Academy would also have to look at whether the song was commercially available, which Grammy rules stating that a track must have general distribution, meaning the broad release of a recording available nationwide via brick and mortar stores, third-party online retailers, and or streaming services. And then finishing off, the Ghostwriter team noted in a statement that it hoped to raise awareness about the creative and business possibilities of AI voice filters, comparing the technology to the early days of hip-hop sampling or user-generated content on YouTube. It offered examples like the ability to do karaoke in the voice of one's favorite artist, at-home creators making original music a la fan fiction, or artist estates using the filters for posthumous original releases. And Mason said, we know AI is going to play a role in our business. We can't pretend to turn our backs on it and try to ban it. He added, I'm not scared of AI, but I do believe work needs to be done to make sure that things are in place so that the creative community is protected. And I think that is the most reasonable take to be said about all this in general. I don't think that anybody who's at least has done research on how all this works is, scared of AI per se, and the fact that like they don't want it here. It's more like people just want to hope that actual individual creatives and humans have their creative rights still protected, and they don't essentially become vanished like a Thanos snap and they're just gone. They don't want that. They want to make sure that they can still make their stuff in peace and actually have a place in this new world of AI coming, right? They want to at least make sure that they still have a place. Of course, there's the other statement, well, if you're not using AI, then you're going to get left behind, and that's a real statement. That is a real possibility, but at the same time, I don't think that artists should have to fear about having their voice ripped away from them and their creative rights taken away. If someone in their basement goes and makes 20 songs using your voice and your brand and likeness and image, and you can't do anything about that. That's pretty much what I think artists fear, and that's what they're trying to prevent. I don't think any artist actually gives a shit too much about AI in itself, and people just, making fan edits or songs. It's just more so the fact that it's labeled as AI and people are aware that it's AI. And on top of that, if the artist and brand likeness and image is used, then they take all the royalties, and the person who ever did that song doesn't make any money off that to begin with. That is, I think, the crux of the issue, and I think eventually it will be sorted out, hopefully, but only time will tell. One thing I do disagree with on the statement, though, is at the end where it talked about artist estates using the filters for posthumous original releases. Personally, I've never been okay with that. I think it's up to the artist themselves. If they have it written in their will, or they have like a full-blown statement that they're okay with it after they pass away, cool, go ahead, I guess. But if an artist has already passed away, I don't think it's right in any way, shape, or form to sit there and go back and start trying to make new songs or albums for them, even though they've already passed away. If they were not alive to consent to it, then you probably should not do anything of that liking, trying to make songs that you think that they would make or anything like that. Personally, I think that's pretty shitty, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, you made this far into the video, consider giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, leave me a comment below what you think. Have a great day. Yeah.